I'm Jordan. I was director of photography, and yeah, just really cool experience to get to work on a feature. Not something you get to do every day, so really, really awesome that we get to do that.
All right, my name is Ernesto, and as you saw, I played Cohen, so this experience was pretty cool. I mean, it's awesome working with the cast and crew. It was just a great time, and I would do it again, but really awesome.
My name's Luke, and I played Bob, and yeah, it was just a great experience. Everybody on this cast and crew either had a full-time job or was a full-time student, and just, you know, we grinded it out for over 2 months, and then the insane amount of post-production work that Brandon and the team put together. So it was awesome. I've worked with all of y'all again.
I'm gonna talk into this microphone, hand it back, and then talk into this one. Thank you. My name is John Harper Reynolds. I played JR in the film. My hair was a bit shorter. I clearly have not cut my hair since we filmed. What a blessing to have worked with all of y'all. And seriously, I can't say it enough. I was having a huge panic attack before this film started because I was nervous. But what a blessing. And I'm happy to be here on stage with you.
I'll just echo what John said, such a blessing to be here with such amazing talent. I'm Brandon. And again, if I haven't said thank you in person, truly, this has been not only for me and this awesome experience and learning experience for me, but for everyone here. You can see your fruits and how your money or your houses or the pizzas that you brought went to contribute all of our dreams. And so please give yourselves a round of applause for that.
Some fans in the audience, nice. Brandon, my first question, of course, is to you. So what was the inspiration behind Bob Zula? It said inspired by true events. If you want to just talk a little bit about what's the story behind that.
Inspired by true events. So I was hesitant to base it off of a true story. It's not like Brandon Reich and but it's very much inspired by real things. And yeah, we made a short film 11 years ago now, and that's always been my favorite story, favorite characters, because it's based on my best friends and our shenanigans. And I've always had that in my mind. I'm like, how can I build off of this? And we just made it into a bigger project.
So I actually saw it when it was a short. I remember that. And so can you talk a little bit about kind of how it is to go from making a short into a feature film? And I know that you had an Indiegogo campaign, and you want to talk a little bit about kind of that process?
Woo! Okay. So making the short into a feature, Indiegogo campaign. I guess mostly I'd like to speak about not making it, because this is 11 years old, and I was probably thinking this is never gonna happen. I'm never gonna be Bob Zula again. Clearly my eyes are starting to wrinkle. It's just not gonna work out for my dreams. And I don't know what it was. I got married, and I think it was probably out of fear that motivated me to start making a feature film. It's I'm married now. I'm probably gonna get a baby eventually. I've got to make a movie now, otherwise I'll have no time.
So that was a motivation for you to make this project.
Big motivation. And it was also really fun to have these characters that I cared so much about and be okay, what happened before the short film? What happened afterwards?
Let's talk about Bob Zula. What is kind of I'm very curious to know where the name comes from, because it's kind of it's very unique. But I do have a question for Luke, and kind of how, because this is based on actual events in Brandon's life, how was it like for you to breathe this character into life? kind of the process?
I don't know where the name comes from either. But basically, yeah, it was just kind of like talking with Brandon, like even like before the screen test, like what he saw for this character. And he made it kind of clear that he wanted it to be an amalgamation of a bunch of different people from his childhood and not just him. So he kind of gave me like some free reign to do like kind of whatever I wanted to, but you know, staying true to him, like above all else, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that does. So did you find any challenges or difficulties or obstacles as you were like going through your process?
Yeah, I mean, this was my first feature, so I mean, just pretty much every day was like a new experience, and I was trying to, you know, learn from everybody on set and learn from Brandon and just, you know, trying to absorb as much information as I could. And so yeah, each day was a challenge, but it always was a fun challenge. So.
Yeah, I feel, and I really liked kind of the character development and the growth, right? Like Bob is having this existential crisis, like, am I an athlete? Kind of where's my place? Like the opening scene with that, with the teacher, right? He's obviously like a class clown. And so it's like, I really kind of liked that conflict, I guess. And then can you talk a little bit about the older brother character, right? He was kind of your mentor and your voice of reason. I don't know, Brandon, if you had somebody like that in your life where that was inspired from, or do you both want to answer? Kind of
I mean, I don't know about the inspiration for it, but I mean, I'll talk about, I mean, working with Nathan, who played Hunter, was amazing. He's the best guy to have on set. And yeah, it was just like the only constant in Bob's life, which he desperately needed, like failure after failure. Like, seems like sometimes his friends weren't there, sometimes his parents weren't there. You know, he wasn't smart, wasn't athletic, but his brother was always there. Even though if he's making fun of him, like it's all out of love, and he was always there to pick him up after the latest failure.
And I also, do you want to answer to that, the inspiration for the older brother?
No, go please.
Oh. Well, I did also want to talk about the cast of colorful characters, right? There was a lot of just really great kind of secondary characters. You had that police officer that kept popping up with say like random things, right? JR? Yeah, your dad was like the coolest dad, right, with the bike and everything.
Is he not here?
Yeah, it can be.
Oh, he was so great.
So if you want to talk, if some of the other cast members would want to talk about like just working with some of those characters, and also I'm curious to know the casting process behind that and the selection of those characters.
I don't know about the casting process, so I can't speak on that. But it is also wild that I loved a lot of those sort of minor roles as well, or like supporting characters. What's funny is like some of them I've never even spoken to, and we're in a movie together. Like it's wild because like you're on set different days, and yeah, so it's a very interesting experience, and yeah, that's all I can say on it. All right, so we're talking about casting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, minor characters. Okay, so Bob Zula, yeah, same thing as JR said, John Reynolds. It's also JR, but same thing is that every day we work with different people, not always the same cast. Sometimes some days we work alone, you know, building our character, seeing where we wanted to take our character, and each experience was just different for every one of us. For me, it was really different and unique, and it helped me grow as a person, and also helped my character grow.
So I know something I really appreciated with Brandon specifically is the creative license that he gave us to make our characters what we wanted them to be. So I know with Callie specifically, there was that inclination in the beginning to just make her a mean girl, like just mean, stereotypical, like we all had one in high school, like that girl. And I didn't want to do that. And I remember sitting down with Brandon and talking to him about I wanted to find something more human about her, like why she is the way that she is. And he sat down with me and we had, you know, a really long conversation about that. And he was really supportive. And then even like in the date night scene in the beginning with Luke, I remember Brandon asking me, does she actually like him? And I was like, you know, yeah, I think on some level that Callie is capable of. Yeah, she really likes him. And so just being able to collaborate together as well as have that individual expression and the freedom to do that was really awesome.
Yeah.
All right. All around. The casting process, it was a little different for everybody, I think. For the most part, I either found people at local improv scene, online resources such as Texas Film Commission, also reached out to Backstage for talent. Got through as big a net as I possibly could, and then rather than having an open audition, scheduled people for slots, they came in and just kind of tried to like eyeball headshots, resumes, and be like, okay, they have this experience, they look like this. I did occasionally look at reels, and that helped with decisions. And then they came in and did a cold reading, and yeah, I think it was a little different for everybody. Occasionally, we found people to play parts that were not originally slated for that cold reading or that character.
Can you give an example?
Oh, thanks for asking.
Yeah, I auditioned for the role of Travis, the antagonist played by Ty very magnificently. And then I've heard the story a couple times. I was in there, and then Brandon's wife was also in there, Danuta, and yeah, Danuta! Yeah. And she like nudged him and was like, have him read for Bob. And then I did, and then that was it. Then the rest is history. But so I owe this role to Danuta.
Very cool. It's a great example. So I want to talk a little bit about the location and the shooting. It kind of seemed like Magnolia and Tomball, like that you did such a great job of giving a great feel of like a small Texas town, right? You had like the rusty pickup truck and everything. So I don't know if
Are
someone
they still here? Rusty pickup?
The rusty
truck
pickup.
people? I've left.
And a prior obligation.
Nice, you borrowed the car. So someone from production, maybe Jordan, if you want to speak a little bit about shooting or if you were at any of those locations.
Sure. Was there a location in particular you had a question about?
Well, I just wanted to talk like just the filming process of it
For sure.
and going out and shooting. Did you really shoot in Magnolia and Tomball? It looked like it.
No, I don't think so.
Movie magic!
Tomball.
It was all Austin the whole time.
Yeah, Austin, San Marcos, some Smithville, outerlying areas. Yeah, I mean, it was the shooting process was unique. I think. I think probably a lot of films don't do it the way we did, but when you're working with a tight budget and you have we basically had a rotating crew. So I'm listed on there as the director of photography, but we also had Ethan Bernal was also a big, he helped shoot a lot of it, on days I wasn't there, he shot it, Brandon shot some of the scenes himself as well too. Pretty much everyone in the cast and crew had full-time jobs. And so, there were days where we just couldn't make it work, where I couldn't be there, because I also have to have some rest time. I can't just, work 24 hours a day, unfortunately. And as a director of photography too, there's so much preparation and stuff that goes into that as well. So not to put down the roles of the other cast and crew, because there's a lot of preparation and work that they put in as well. But it just wasn't something that I was able to commit to the entire time. So there were certain things where, luckily we had, those other options. We had other people willing to step in and kind of fill that role. And it was interesting, but we made it work, and it all came together. So.
Yeah, with that said, with the budget-friendly production, so I don't know if too many people know this, but I petitioned for a local grant here at AFS and didn't get it. And through that process, though, it was really awesome because what happened was we had to document every detail and line item of how much this film cost. And what you guys just watched was a $300,000 movie if everyone here is getting paid. because the Indiegogo campaign raised $7,000 of the $20,000 goal. Everyone here worked for free, and if you imagine, it's crazy to me to think about like, okay, so this is going to take $300,000. What do we have? 7. But here we are, you know. So it's baffling.
That's awesome. And so I wanted to ask, what was up with the jumping in and out of the car? That was so exhausting, having to like climb in and out of the car. Do you want to talk about that? That wasn't really your car, was it?
It actually was.
Oh,
No, I remember Brandon at first, he was like, hey, so Ernesto, I got a question. So you drive, right? I was like, yeah. Can we borrow your car for the film? And I remember I was like, yeah, I just need to ask my mom first. And then when my mom she was like, you're good, just drive safe, don't do anything stupid. As you can see, my character did a lot of things stupid. But okay, getting to the point of the car. Yeah, Cohen never really fixed his car doors because, yeah, he was like, just use the windows, and that's what he just got used to and never wanted to fix his
it was
car.
like all 4 doors.
Yeah.
Was that inspired by something, or that was just you thought it would be a funny bit to have in the movie?
It was funny. It was a funny bit. That was probably the anchor of the entire getting in and out of it. But the short film, if y'all remember, has or if you've seen it, it's like you clearly remembered that part from the short film. But Thurman gets in and out of the old Jeep window, and we're like, like we could just do that the entire movie.
Was it exhausting for you?
Yes, every time. But it was worth it.
No, it did, like, well, there are certain times when it took a couple takes when like a shoe would get stuck or something. But other than that, no, it was hard to not break during those types of scenes.
And did you already know how to skateboard?
No, I still don't. If you notice the cuts of me skateboarding are very quick. I'm not skateboarding for too long, and my character isn't that good at it either, which worked out. So
It's part of the
I
whole
went really mad
who I
about
am thing. I did want to talk about the music. I thought the music was pretty good, right? And where was the kind of the process for picking that?
Friends of mine, I met at church, and they composed original score, and then they had an old album, and they're like, yeah, use whatever you want. So their entire album is laced throughout the movie. I have some friend in Chicago. She let me use any song from her album, so we used like 2 or 3 songs. And yeah, there's another band called Tombstone Wasteland. Are you guys here? Maybe was here earlier. So there's another album. So 3 different bands. One of the bands is the composer, and I'm also currently in the process of trying to get a Willie Nelson song. I have half of the rights, so I just didn't want to take the risk, just in case Willie Nelson's sitting in here anywhere. It's like better play it safe play it safe for the screening. But yeah, I'm excited to finally finalize those rights.
That's awesome. Let's go ahead and open it up to audience questions. Does anyone have a question? Oh, right here.
Hi, my name is Frank Reynolds. I'm from Olathe, Kansas.
Can I stop you, Frank? So real quick, is there anyone in the room who has donated $2,000 or more? Will you just stand up and take a bow? Anyone who's donated $2,000 of this? This is Stu, and he's single, ladies.
I just kind of wandered in, maybe like halfway through the movie. Well, my question was in regards to the autobiographical aspect of the film. I mean, I know that you were kind of hesitant to do something that was autobiographical, but were were the two co-protagonists besides Bob based on characters, or was it just kind of like a composite, or just like a mix of composite and just something original?
Good question. It's all kind of Frankenstein together. Majority of it is my experience from my perspective, but yeah, it's a little bit of pulling from different sources and mostly tried to stay as true as possible, and then I would heighten certain entertainment things, you know. So most of the stuff you saw has happened in real life. Is that your question?
Oh, back here, I see, the sunglasses.
Can we circle back to the name?
Yeah.
Oh, the name,
Yeah, I
yes.
want to know that too.
What's up with Bob Zula? Where'd that come from?
Is Natalie here? No. All right. So it's one of my best friend's wives here. He couldn't make it because he was working at Cowboy Harley Davidson, which donated motorcycle lessons to. So he and I used to make movies when we were in junior high, and we had a family cam, and so we had our own little TV show called Bob's Adventures. And so even from like way back then, but everyone was Bob. So it's also kind of a family name. My grandma is Betty Jo, and her late husband is Joe Bob. So family name Bob. So it's personal.
And the Zula?
Zula, I was interning at the Texas Film Commission, editing photos or doing something administrative and boring, and I ran across Zula. I think it's a restaurant in Houston. I'm pretty sure. So I was like, Bob Zula, that's something. I'm gonna hold on to that.
Nice. Okay, way in the back, I see a hand.
I have a question for Lou. Do you play any sports in real life?
Oh, great question. Yes, I play Quidditch at the University of Texas. And I'm a keeper, and that's my team back there who asked the question. So yeah, that's all those moves you saw on the baseball field, dodging the cop. That was Quidditch training right there. So
I'll add, he also had an injury that he was just healing from.
yeah, I tore my ACL in November, and I had surgery in December, and we started. It was not from a body. It was just from a body. It was during Quidditch though.
It's a dangerous sport.
It is. It is. Yeah, so I was like 3 months out of surgery, and I was a little nervous about like doing that run and also like skating and stuff like that, but I did it anyways, much to my mom's chagrin. Sorry, Mom, but other than that, yeah, it was fine.
So we have time for one more question. I see in the back, standing up, back there.
Coach, Bishop Brandon, what's your next project going to be about?
Good question.
That was my question too.
It's a autobiographical mystery. No, I can't tell. It's not copywritten yet. Moo, that's my Aunt
Yes.
Moo, great Aunt Moo.
Last question.
I'll tell you, Carmen.
Brandon, when he was 2 years old, he couldn't say Maryland. I want to thank everybody here that helped my nephew. He is such a marvelous person. He's as good as you all think he is, but it's so refreshing to see a group of young people get together and do something that is resourceful. It's a story that will go on and on because it's a good story. And it's a story about truth and goodness, and that's the only thing that Brandon could write about or participate in. But, you know, we turn on TV and we go to the movies and we're so disappointed in the morals, the character and everything. And this was very good, and I just want to thank everybody for whatever way they contributed. But you young folks that are actors, keep going. Keep going, keep it fresh.
Thank you. That was so lovely. And on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap up and end our Q&A. Let's give another round of applause.